Hi, welcome to My Court Coach. I'm Jaylyn and I'm going to be your instructor as we go through DV-800 / JV-252. The JV is within the context of the juvenile system, but the DV is within the context of the domestic violence restraining orders. So, proof of firearms turned in, sold, or stored. So when you do have a restraining order filed against you and the court suspects, based off of the information from the other party, that you do have firearms or ammunition or any sort of weapon, you need to make sure that you turn in those weapons within 48 hours of receiving the documentation from the sheriffs or whoever it is that served you. So from within 48 hours of you receiving the restraining order, you need to make sure that this proof of service is in fact completed and turned into the court. So what does that mean? That your firearms and ammunition and whatever weapons that you have, those need to be turned in ASAP within 24 hours essentially, and that you have 48 hours to file this proof of service from the time that you turned in, you relinquished your possession of these firearms. So this holds true when you have a temporary restraining order. It's certainly going to hold true while you have a permanent restraining order. So you're going to list the name of the protected person and then your name. If you have a lawyer, lawyer is going to fill out this information along with their address or your address and your mailing address. You don't need to include a telephone number, email, or fax or anything like that. And then it tells you if the court has ordered you to turn in, sell, or store your firearms, you may use this form to prove to the court that you have obeyed its orders. Whenever you deliver your unloaded weapons, ask the law enforcement officer or the licensed gun dealer to complete item 4 or 5 and item 6. After the form is signed, file it with the clerk. Keep a copy for yourself. For help, read the informational form DV-800. So if law enforcement is the one that you're turning this into, then you're going to have to keep this and a copy of the original, or the original is going to go to the person who turned in the firearms. So it states the firearms listed in 6 were turned in on the date, the time, with whom, and the address, and that law enforcement agent must sign their name. Then to the licensed gun dealer, they're going to keep a copy and give the original to the person who sold you the firearms or stored them with you. So the firearms listed were sold to me or transferred to me for storage on the date, time, the name of the gun dealership, the license number of the gun dealership, their telephone number and address, and they must also sign under penalty of perjury that they did in fact receive the guns for storage or where it was sold to them. And then you have to list the make, model, and serial number of every firearm that you have. If you have more than the 5 that spaces that allows you, then you could use MC025 and attach that form and just write the firearms that are turned in or stored. Next question. Do you have, own, possess, or control any other firearms besides the one that's listed in 6? If you answered yes, have you turned in, sold, or stored those other firearms? If you said yes, then you have to have filed a proof of firearms turned in for those firearms as well with the court on whatever specific date that may be, or that you're filing the proof for those firearms along with this proof, or you have not filed the proof for the other firearms, and then you would have to explain why you did not complete it just yet. And so you can use, again, the MC025 and then write attachment 7C and give yourself that additional explanation that you need to put on so that the court has it. Then you're going to need to sign it under penalty of perjury, and you're going to date it. You're going to write your name. You're going to sign it, and make sure that you make, again, 2 copies of this. So you're going to sign it, make 2 copies, and make sure that the court does have a copy for its records, the other party has a copy for its records, and you have a copy for your records, and you bring that copy with you to court in case, for whatever reason, the court loses the filed copy. We hope that you found this helpful, and best of luck.